Welcome to Angularjs with me, Muhammad Maruf Najm. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to route between different pages of an application written with Angularjs. I have created an application called Single Page on my local host, and this application has been written using Angularjs. This application has two pages. One is page 1 and the other is page 2. When I click on page 1 link, it takes me to page 1, and when I click on page 2 link, it takes me to page 2. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to route between different pages of an application written with Angularjs. Inside the Angularjs tutorials folder, I have created another folder called Single Page, in which there are several other files and folders. This is our current application. One of the files created inside the single page folder is the index.php file, which is the main container of our application. Also inside the partials folder, I have created three partial views. One is navigation.html, which forms the navigation bar of our application. Another is page1.html, which is a partial view and is loaded in the container when page 1 link is clicked, and the other is page2.html, which is also another partial view and is loaded when page 2 link is clicked on the navigation bar. And the last file I have created in this application is the app.js file, which contains the Angularjs code of our application. I start the explanation of this application from the index.php file here. Inside the index.php file, I have included two libraries of Angularjs. One is angular.mean.js and the other is angular-route.mean.js. These two libraries are essentially needed for this application. And the last file I have included or imported in this page is the app.js file, which contains our Angularjs code written by me. Also here inside the container div, I have included the navigation bar of the application, and then I have created a div inside which I have used the data ng view div. And this is the place where partial views are loaded when a link is clicked. Inside the Angularjs code I have written here, you see that I have written the configuration of our application. I have called the config function of the application, and I have passed an anonymous function as a parameter to this config function. And this anonymous function has one parameter, which is the $route provider, using which we can provide routing between different pages. Inside the body of this anonymous function, I have called the different states of this route provider. I said here, when page 1 is clicked, load page1.html partial view to the container. To this container. When page 2 is clicked, load page2.html file, which is a partial view, here inside the partials folder. When a person types the name of the project in the URL, when there is no page after this /, usually load page1.html, and otherwise redirect to page 1. Also, I have written the run function of our application. This function is not necessarily needed in this application, but if you have a real-world application in which there are two or more pages, when you route between different pages of that application, then each time you click a link to take you to another page, a request must be sent to the server. That request might be for different purposes. In real-world applications, this piece of code is essentially needed to see whether the session has been set, the person is still logged in, and so on. And also this is the controller of our current application. Here, when we identify or specify the template URL of a page, when a link is clicked, also its controller must be identified. Here I have just one controller, and I have said that when page 1 is clicked, its template URL should be page1.html and its controller should be initiator. I mean the initiator controller right in here. Likewise for page 2 and so on. And also inside the page 1, page 2 and navigation.html, just I have written some HTML elements. Inside the navigation.html, I have created two links. One is the link to page 1 and the other is the link to page 2. And inside these two HTML files, I have just written some HTML elements and also some texts to show on the page when we are taken to that page. This way we can create an application with multiple pages and route between different pages of that application using AngularJS.